For the city of Saratoga Springs, Tuesday, February 4th, 2025 at 6:01 p.m. Present tonight, I have Councilwoman Barton, Councilman McComber, Councilman Carn, Councilman Wadman, and Councilman Wilden is participating electronically this evening, so we do have a quorum. I've asked Councilman Wadman to lead us in our invocation and Councilman Carn to lead us in our pledge.
Sure. Our Father in heaven, we truly are grateful for the opportunity we have to be here as members of the council, as citizens of Saratoga, and as those that are serving our city, both police, fire, and staff, and those that support our parks and our other recreational areas. We are truly grateful for the devotion that is put into our city and for the time that is spent. We ask that we can carry that sentiment today as we discuss these things civilly, and that we can be effective in our decisions. We are grateful for this country and for the benefits it gives us and for the opportunity we have to practice our freedoms. We say these things in the name of Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. Please rise and join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, public input. Time has been set aside for the public to express ideas, concerns, comments for subject matter not listed on the agenda. There are no public hearings tonight. If you're here for public input, please come to the dais, state your name and address for the record. Please avoid repetitive comments. Please be respectful in your comments. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes with a total time for public input of 15 minutes. Please refrain from clapping during public input. Is anybody here for public input? Okay.
Hello, my name is Steve Martin. Is everyone enjoying the Indian summer that we've been having? Pretty nice, huh? Mayor Miller, members of the City Council, appreciate your time. As I mentioned, my name is Steve Martin. I'm a resident here. I'm a business owner, and I'm in part representing the Central Utah Water Conservancy District. I'd like to make my proposal in 2 parts. One for Saratoga Springs to adopt the Landscape Initiative Program, and 2, to have Saratoga Springs be the home of the Central Utah Water Conservancy Garden. Number 1, by adopting the Landscape Incentive Program, the homeowners, businesses, and industrial will receive $3 a square foot for converting their existing landscaping into a water-efficient landscape, which I think you're all aware of. There's also, as you're aware of, this is mainly funded by the federal, state, and the water district. There are, of course, some requirements that the municipalities do have to follow with that, and I do have a copy of those requirements that I'll go ahead and have that for you if you're interested. The main reason that I wanted to propose this is because we do live in a desert state, and we do need to have these water practices to make sure that we're conserving the water and we're following good water practices. Part 2 is the Central Utah Water Conservancy Garden. If you're familiar with Conservation Water Park in West Jordan, this is a botanical garden that's right now sitting on 10 acres up in West Valley. They actually have 3 more expansion phases that may come close to doubling what they currently have. I'd like to go ahead and have, currently, the Central Water District does not have a botanical garden of their own. And I'd like to propose that Saratoga Springs be the home of the Central Water District's botanical garden. Is that my time?
That is.
Okay. Do I just end right there? Or can I go on for 2 more
Yeah.
minutes?
So I did have one question. We don't always go back and forth, but are you here in an official capacity representing Central
I am
Utah
not.
Water?
I am not.
Okay.
I am a resident that I just, I also do residential landscaping. I own Bloom's Gardens or Bloom's Nursery. I'm a master gardener. I really like water conservation in landscaping. I think Saratoga Springs could be a leader. I think we're centrally located to have all of Utah County come here for the garden. I would love to take the lead in fundraising for that garden, if not lead the project. I think we could easily have a 5+ acre garden, beautiful botanical garden, centrally located in the city, featuring water-wise plants, water-efficient gardening. And it wouldn't just be, a lot of times you think water efficient and you think of prairie, you think of rocks, but it can be beautiful. I mean, there's gorgeous flowers and trees and shrubs that you can go ahead and landscape with. And to have a botanical garden in downtown and, have the land right here and having people not only from Utah County, but from around the state, tens of thousands of people coming just for the garden into Saratoga Springs, I think it'd be wonderful.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I've never done this before. My name's Brett Henry. I'm a resident here for 11 years. And
Give your address.
what?
Give your address for the record.
Oh, 536 North Ritter in Saratoga. And I guess I'm here to kind of support one of my neighbors. He has been applying to get a base accessory apartment. And it sounds, I don't know all the loopholes, but it sounds like he's had to jump through quite a bit of hoops to get this done. And I guess I'm a real estate broker by trade. I've been doing this for 20 years. I also own a property manages probably 200 properties within a 10-mile radius. And so I just kind of feel like, there's hundreds of illegal rentals in Saratoga Springs, homes that are being rented out like duplexes. And I feel like we're kind of almost punishing the guys who are willing to jump through the hoops and try to get this, try to get a legal accessory apartment. And so I guess my only advice would be is, if we can, I guess, make it easier for the people who are willing to jump through the hoops to get this done, there's going to be less of a problem as far as illegal rentals in the city and people renting their homes out like duplexes. So that's it. Any questions or? Okay, all right, thank you.
Thanks. Okay, anybody else here for public input? Okay, seeing none, I will close the public input at this time. And we will go on to reports. Are there any reports from the council?
Yeah, we had the opportunity of meeting with Sergeant Court yesterday, and Western Hills just up the street here.
We being who, sorry?
Audrey and I, sorry, thanks, Comber. Yeah, Audrey and I, or Councilmember Barton and I, met with the staff. Mark kind of led the discussions around the history, what options were. And I know a lot of people came there with discussions, and I think we listened to everybody, and it was a good exercise of city, citizens, and council just all counseling with each other. The results were, we kind of laid out what the plan would be, and then in the coming as the developer developed, and then we would reevaluate at that point. I think that was a sentiment that was there, and that's where we left off. So, is that good, or any questions, or? Okay, thanks.
Just to make sure, so we are making sure that there's another exit for Sergeant Court. That was something we want to make super clear because they've been told since 2017 that they have another way out of their 100-unit subdivision, I guess you could say. But I just want to point out how gracious and kind and willing they were to talk, Western Hills and Sergeant Court and everybody all together. It was a great meeting. And I really appreciated also staff. We had a lot of staff there as well. Jeremy and Sarah and Ken and Mark were all there, plus a couple others. And I think that that was a big deal for those guys.
We were there till 7:30, 7:45.
Started at 5, it was a couple
Two and a
hours.
half hours.
But it was a great meeting, and again, we wanted to make sure Sergeant Court knows there will be a road for them, but also that we told Western Hills that conversation doesn't need to be closed, right? Like, we'll reevaluate once things are built, farther along, and then we'll reevaluate once they get people, in the buildings and stuff like that. And so just an ongoing conversation, but everybody was really fantastic, so that was great.
Okay. Mark?
Thank you, and just as a follow-up, we received an exhibit from them, which was a 2-page exhibit. We've scanned that and emailed that to you as a council. They listed their concerns on one side of the paper, safety, lighting, things of that nature. And then on the other side, they proposed some alternatives. We discussed those alternatives. I believe there was 4 alternatives, and we discussed those. And in the end, the conclusion, as was mentioned by both council members, was that we would go at the completion of the construction when all of the exit routes and things are built through the commercial subdivision. We'd go back and study, traffic counts and things of that nature in that neighborhood, just to see what the impact is once actual development happens, as opposed to the fear of what it's going to look like. And so we'll circle back on that. And we do appreciate the information given by the residents, and appreciate staff and Sarah and others who pulled together kind of a timeline of that. We'll share that timeline with you. I neglected to attach that, but we'll share that with you tonight, and you'll have that as kind of documentation of the timelines that we followed with them in that. So thank you.
Okay. Councilman Carn? No. Okay, any other reports from the council? Mark, anything from admin?
No, thank you very much for your participation at the offsite, earlier planning offsite last week. Thank you very much. And I believe I've spoken to you way too much in the last week.
The offsite that was on city.
Yeah, we did a work session at the community room.
Strategic planning meeting on campus.
Okay. We have the consent items. There's been a request to pull item 1 for discussion, so we'll do that one first. Councilman McComber?
So I just had a question if you could verify or clarify, if you would, the fiscal impact on D. It says that we'll be making a change for 147,170, and just for those in the audience. This is for Mountain View, which goes from SR 73 in front of Sunrise Meadows all the way to Pony Express. We're doing a design study to make that so that it's ready to go with 5 lanes, 2 lanes each way with a lane down the middle, which is, we all know, is very well needed. So the amount is not being questioned. My concern is the next line, it says the budget is, and no increase is proposed at this time. And so I was just confused where we're adding $150,000, but we're not affecting the budget.
Right. And actually, there was actually another typo in there, so I'm glad you brought that up. So the new total will be 244,000, right?
Total.
For the new contract total. So it's
Because we have the 3.
We had the 96,000, I think, was the original, and that was just to do a concept plan. This will take it to full construction drawing, so we can actually go to construction. And then There is no change to the budget right now because in that GL is, I think I put in there $8 million.
It's 8,000,009, it's
We
almost
don't
9 million.
need, so we're not proposing that we increase that GL today, because obviously that's still enough to cover the 244,000. But if we go out to bid and whatever, and that's not enough to cover the construction cost. So when I should have been more clear, what I said is an increase to the fund budget is not recommended, but there is an increase to the budget for the design. But the design and the construction budget is all one budget in the city budget, if that helps clarify.
It does make sense, thank you.
So I've sent an updated staff report to Nikki, so if you authorize it, then she can use that new staff report and she'll replace that in the packet.
Okay.
And if I could also offer one more clarification, oftentimes what we'll do is we'll have a budget number, and when we get the bids, depending on what the bid ends up coming, we do kind of a final budget amendment before we go into construction. So I think that's the other part of Jeremy's narrative is we typically, once we've gotten the contract and we're ready to award, if we do need to amend the budget, we'll amend it at that time to make sure that we've captured any costs or any changes based on the actual bids.
Okay. And I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we approve consent item 1, the change order 1-3, as stated from our Public Works Director. He has supplied a updated staff report, and that we will approve those numbers and that clarification at this time.
Okay, I have a first from Councilman McComber,
Second.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
second from Councilman Wadman. Any further discussion? Wadman?
Aye.
Carn?
Aye.
Comber?
Aye.
Barton?
Aye.
Wilden?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. I'll entertain a motion on the rest of the consent items.
So made.
I have a first from Councilman McComber,
Second.
second from Councilman Carn. Any further discussion? Wilden?
Aye.
Barton?
Aye.
Comber? Carn?
Aye.
Wadman?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Business items, we have the election of the mayor pro tem, Saratoga Springs, as we discussed. I believe the council's recommendation was Councilwoman Barton at this time for 2025. If that's the same, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve Councilman Barton as mayor pro tem per Saratoga Springs City Code, Section 2.02.01 for the 2025 year.
I'll second
I
that.
have a first from Councilman Carn, a second from Councilman McComber. Any further discussion? Wadman?
Aye.
Barton?
Aye.
Comber?
Aye.
Carn?
Aye.
Wilden?
Aye.
It's always fun
He's
to
losing his
vote
power.
for yourself, isn't it?
Motion passes unanimously.
Just lost all power.
Don't worry, mayor never is gone, so you're fine.
Yeah, thank heavens. I already
I
discussed
think
this
in
with Mark.
16 years, like what, two
Two?
times? Two times?
Yeah, and don't make this year another one, so thanks.
Oh, no, we need to make sure that at least one.
So we've got business item 2, amendments to Title 19 Land Development Code, City of Saratoga Springs.
Good evening. Yes, I'd invite, we have the applicant Chuck Hale, who is here. And would you like him to state his address right now?
Yeah.
If you can.
668 West Ritter, Saratoga Springs.
So this is for Sierra Estates Plat E. So this plat has 26 lots, but because one of them, one of the streets has less than 10 lots, and due to the old code. So the reason why this one is this is brought to council is because even though the changes have been made to Title 19, his application was in before those changes, and he had a year to make to go in to get the petition. And so what he did is because one of the streets was less than 10 lots, he had to get 66% of the approval of all of the lots that are within 500 feet of the boundary. So that was 97 lots. He got 74 of those signatures. And I did call about 10%, so 8 of the people that signed to verify that he did come and they did sign. And then 4 of them got back to me, and each of them verified that that was the case. And something else that I didn't put in the report is that every single lot that is directly adjacent to Sierra Estates Plat E signed the petition except one. So all of them except one of them that are directly adjacent to signed in support of the petition. And yeah, that's all that we have, all that I have.
Councilman McComber?
So I just wanted to make a statement, and this is from the public input, which I appreciated the public input being made. We don't usually do back and forth during public input, but this is the time to have that kind of discussion. So this is a result of not the city council and what we've been doing. It's the state changed its laws and created a lot of drama, unfunded mandates on cities to try and figure all this out. And you got stuck in that. And I apologize for the delays there. I appreciate you being a law-abiding citizen and doing this the right way. Appreciate you going and talking to your neighbors, because good neighbors are communicative neighbors. Bad neighbors are ones who don't ever talk to each other. And so I really appreciate that as well. I think that it's important we do the best we can to make sure that everyone is on the same page, because many people moved into Saratoga Springs with the knowledge and hope that they wouldn't have internal accessory dwelling units in their neighborhood. Those neighborhoods are still, for the most part, not allowing IADUs. This obviously was in the red area, and you went and talked to your neighbors and did the process. It might be cumbersome, but at the same time, the residents moved here expecting that. And so they agreed that this is okay in having you do this. And so I appreciate you going through the effort. And I just want to make sure it's clear that it's not us trying to create a difficult process. It's us dealing with the difficult process that the state has imposed on us. So thank you very much. Thank you, Mayor.
No, I appreciate that. Yeah, to Councilman McComber's point, you know, these people bought in single-family neighborhoods zoned for single-family housing, and we're essentially changing this into duplex or multi-high-density housing, adding density. And so it's good that the neighbors have the chance to waive their right, if they so wish, for the property right that they did purchase in good intent for single families. So thank you for your patience going through the process with that. Is there other questions from the council at this time? Okay, then I will entertain a motion.
Mayor,
Oh, Councilman.
I'll move. I'll just move that we approve business item 2 as stated on the agenda, including any staff findings and conditions.
Okay, I have a first from Councilman Wilden,
Second.
second from Councilman Wadman. Roll call, Barton.
Aye.
McComber.
Aye.
Carn.
Aye.
Wadman.
Aye.
Wilden.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Saratoga Town Center, Lot 305.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I'll go ahead and invite the applicant up, Austin Cooper with JDH Development. If you want to go ahead and say your name and address for the record.
Do you want me to say my Lehigh address or?
Business address is fine.
Business address. Austin Cooper, business address is 966 West State Street in Lincoln.
Perfect. Okay, this is a site plan application. As mentioned, this is located northwest of the intersection of Crossroads Boulevard and Commerce Drive, and is located within the Regional Commercial Zoning District. The applicant is proposing a regional commercial building here that will house primarily a gymnastics studio. The site plan as shown, as well as the landscape plan and architectural drawings, which I'll pan here, do comply with code. Of note, there were a couple of items that were noted as shall comply within the checklist that was submitted to you. Those were related to building address to be checked at inspection, and then public meeting, which is fulfilled at this time. With that, if you guys have any questions for me or the applicant, I'm available to answer them.
So I just want to, I always make sure I make an effort to, I'm tough on developers, but I'm also complimentary as well. And I wanted to compliment you on a really good application, was reviewing this pretty thoroughly. And not only do you comply, and not even can comply, you complied in every area, and you exceeded in many areas as well, in particular parking. And so often do I hear developers begging to reduce parking because of the expense. You seem like you're a business owner who understands that if customers can get a parking spot, they're going to be happy, and they're going to be continuing customers. So thank you for that, and I think that you're going to have a really good product, and I appreciate the extra parking because of some of the surrounding areas maybe will benefit from that as well. You're a little far away from the main one that struggles. We have a lot of people parking on the dirt, as you know, at Neaters, but that's okay. So, but one thing I do, so it was mentioned that a gymnastics, so are they renting out multiple spots in this? Because you have like 7 or 8 different
Yeah,
units.
so there's 10 units in there. I believe at this point they're taking 6.
Okay.
So it's a 45,000 square foot building. They're taking about 25,000 square
I
feet.
love that. Where's the closest gym with gymnastics offered?
Probably Lehigh.
Yeah.
Is there one in Lehigh? Okay.
Over by the freeway.
There's one up the
Yeah,
street
yeah.
from their office.
It's, yeah, right,
That's right.
by them. But, and so, just important for the council, especially the newer council, not younger, the newer council members.
Sure it's younger.
That if the gymnastics leaves, they can then sublease in all of the different spots. So we're
have to be
not.
all 6
It doesn't
again.
have to be all 6. And so if the
Okay.
gymnastics ever leaves, then they could come around and
And find 6 new
6 new tenants, because they're parking it for
No matter
10
what.
tenants.
That's great.
And the gymnastics, so they're really exceeding their parking because a lot of gymnastics is drop off and leave and then come back. So I'm very, very pleased with that. But the fact that if you did lose the gymnastic tenant, which I don't think you will,
I hope we don't.
the parking will be there
Yeah.
for any future businesses. So once again, an amazing application, and it was nice to see. I've had some rough ones lately, so I really appreciated it.
The great ones. Yeah.
So I have to ask, because this is kind of the Bermuda Triangle. We approve stuff here and it never goes vertical. When's your start date?
As soon as we get building permit, we've
This is
got
the future.
the tenant wants to take occupation, August is when they're hoping. So
Perfect.
we're running up against
Love
deadline.
that.
So as soon as we get building permit, I've already been in conversation with the building department, so. Yeah, so we
So
can get that.
my one question is this the same organization that's up the street from your office?
Same organization.
The same studio, same
Oh,
gym?
no.
Ah,
No, this
I drive
is-
my kids over there twice a week.
I have to switch.
Really nice.
No, this is someone that currently,
Organize an introduction.
no, this is someone that currently has space, I think, out in Eagle Mountain, and they're wanting to
Okay.
they're needing a bigger space, so.
Love
Cool,
that.
thank you.
That's great.
That's great. Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we approve business item 3, the Saratoga Town Center Lot 305 site plan as outlined in the agenda with all staff findings and conditions.
Second.
I have a first from McComber, second from Carn. Any further discussion? Wilden?
Aye.
Carn?
Aye.
Barton?
Aye.
Wadman?
Aye.
Comber?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Yay. I'd really like to see that area developed.
And then we have the, yes,
Had so many things come back and forth.
we've approved a lot of things.
There is one building right now going in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pending ordinance for buffers between uses, Resolution R 2504.
Perfect. So this is a pending ordinance as stated. This was requested by council. So staff has been working on this on the last few weeks to put in place a buffer that would go into effect where non-residential is coming in adjacent to existing residential development, particularly when there's a change of grade that increases on the non-residential site. As part of this, the protections that this buffer would offer to the existing residential include an increased setback requirement, the requirement for a 6-foot masonry wall along the property line boundary, an increase in the number of trees required, 1 per every 15 linear feet along that property line boundary. It would prohibit drive-through lanes between a building and the existing residential property line. So there wouldn't be any drive-through lanes in that area, and would be in addition to all other required buffers that we have in our code at this time. In addition to the increased setback requirement, that would be in addition to the existing setback requirement that is already in effect. There are some exceptions that this buffer would have, which include when development is separated either by a roadway, by a canal, by a trail corridor that's greater than 20 feet, a power line easement. Those are outlined in this as well. And so something that is already providing kind of that natural buffer between those two developments. And the other thing that would just be across the board as part of this pending ordinance would be a standing requirement that all drive-through lanes adjacent to residentially zoned property or existing residential development would be set back a minimum of 20 feet from that property line. So with that, any questions that you guys have?
Councilman McComber?
So is the 20 feet from the building or from the actual drive lane?
From the drive lane.
The outer edge of the drive lane?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. And I also, is there a specific, because our tree code, our tree, like approved trees that we have within the, like the drought resistant trees and things that we have in our code, they're about tall and foliage so that it creates shade so that we don't become a heat island. This is the opposite. We're trying to want the trees to be shorter to create a block, because the trees that we have are ones that go up 20, 25 feet and they become a canopy. So then we would be every 15 feet, we would have a 1 foot trunk. That's it. So I'm just a little bit concerned that normally our tree standards meet for a very different reason. This is using it for screening. And so you have cherry Kwanzans, other trees that soft prune like this that can create a nice wall, and they don't get taller than 15 feet, which is exactly what we're trying to accomplish here. So I'm concerned that we'll put in some $20 maples, and that defeats the whole purpose. And maples don't do well in Saratoga Springs. Please don't plant, but whatever. Maples were meant to be in Canada because they have a lot of water.
That's a good point. If you would like to add that, that we have a limit, that these aren't to be big trees, they're to be screening trees.
Screening trees, yeah. So
If we adopt this pending ordinance, it still has to go back through planning and public comment, right?
So our goal here
adjustments
is to get this in place, and then we're gonna work on it a lot more.
Okay.
So you'll see more
but
details.
the point is to make sure the developers who see it
Yeah.
know what to expect.
The intent of it, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So it'll be in place for 6 months while we're working on bringing you something more refined.
I support that intent.
Councilman Wilden?
I was just going to ask, I'm good with everything that's been discussed. We did talk about also looking at a grading buffer down the road for residential developments as well, because we have seen Councilman Wadman's house is a good case in point where a new residential development went up right behind him and it was elevated 20 to 30 feet. So I know that's not on the agenda, but I would like us to take a look at that over the next couple of months.
Well, there is, okay. Our number 11 change in grade buffer, that's part of this too, right?
But that's only for commercial.
yeah.
He's saying you had a problem with residential.
Residential.
The Mount Saratoga, we had a big problem with this, and we had a whole neighborhood residential.
Yeah, okay.
So maybe,
And just to be clear, Councilman Wadman did not bring this up with me. I did go to his backyard a number of years ago when he was not on the council. So this is me bringing it up, not him, so.
so it wouldn't hurt to add that.
We've got a great zip line now, that's all.
It's that steep, no.
Perfect. Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we approve business item 4, pending ordinance for buffers between uses, or resolution R25-04 dated today, with staff findings and conditions, if any, plus a note that the trees that will be used for screening will be of the appropriate height as outlined in the eventual policy.
I'll second it.
I have a first from Councilman McComber, second from Councilwoman Barton. Any further discussion? Barton?
Aye.
McComber?
Aye.
Wilden?
Aye.
Wadman?
Aye.
Carn?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. We have no need for closed session this evening, so we will adjourn the meeting.
Thank you.